My name is Allegra Kochman. I'm Dartmouth class of 1992. I always think about how in the beginning everyone's like Howard Rourke, Ayn Rand, Frank Lloyd Wright, and that is a very different model of architecture than the one I espouse. That architecture is very much about, I know the right way, I'm an architect, it must be this way, this interior, this, I know the right way. And I am a post-Jane Jacobs architect where community, culture, input is all really important. I want my clients' input, and I create a space that is the stage set for their lives. I want my clients to start to get in touch with their fantasies. Somewhat for my aspirations which are like, what's really important? So your fantasy is like this and a this and a this, but really, what are the core pieces of the fantasy? What's really essential? What is it that you really, really need? Let's get that done. My first project, my first built project was Great Bear Cabin. It was a rainy night and we didn't have a cabin because it had burned down. So when the opportunity came up to rebuild the cabin, I really, really wanted to be involved in it. Earl Jetty was the director of the Outing Club, and he said to me, we like to give students enough rope to hang themselves with. I could not understand what this meant. And so I was like, what do you mean? I don't understand. So he explained it to me, and basically it was permission to fail. It was, in fact, like you sort of should fail, and you should like run out that rope and see what happens. And that was a really inspiring thing for him to say, and I use that a lot. I took that forward in life with me. Straight out of Dartmouth, I went to Columbia Graduate School for Architecture, Planning, and Preservation, which is basically Columbia architecture. So in my final project, we were doing a suburban home, a suburban duplex, and there's like something like, I don't understand. Like suburban life is all about having elbow room and space and your own yard. Like who would want to live with someone else, and is that really suburbia? So I really wanted to play with this idea and change the building type completely. I wanted to do prefab panels that would ship to the site and would be exploded and popped out into 3 dimensions and tilted up, and I had a whole system of construction that I had invented. It became clear that my professor really loved my project. During one of the reviews, it wasn't clear yet, but he was like, no, what do you think, Allegra? When someone else was pushing me. And I was like, oh, well, maybe. And he was like, no, what do you think? And I was like, oh, I should stand up for what I'm thinking and not let this other person, because they were brought in to give me advice, I don't actually have to take their advice. And that was also a mind-blowing thing, as well as just, it felt really good to focus on what I knew to be good and important for my project. After graduate school, I started working at a small firm, then a slightly bigger firm, and then a really big firm, SOM, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. And I was in the airport group, and I loved it. Airports are these huge, intense machines that have to do something very, very particular. They need to get people and their bags onto planes. Planes have one set of mixes, bags have another scale of mixing, and people have another scale of mixing. And I love the puzzle and challenge of making them all work together. There's this conflict for me between listening and doing, and I love listening now. I did not love listening. So I guess my advice to my younger self would be to listen more, listen deeper, listen longer. It's not even what I thought it might be, which is don't wait and don't rush. It's listen, because there's wisdom out there, and I can use all of that wisdom, reformulate it, and send it back out in the world, and it'll be even better. I really love architecture because I get to make people happy in ways they couldn't have even imagined. I create space and juxtapositions. I make life easier, and I guide people through what is really a very complex process. I love the challenge, I love the puzzle, and then in the end, like, you have this amazing space and you're really happy, and it's like it's always been that way. There's flow, it's relaxed, and it is the stage set for my client's life. I just got 2 emails from clients during this COVID time basically saying, the apartment you've made for us has made this seclusion time, this self-isolation, tolerable. I created spaces for them that they feel completely integrated with and at home with. And like, that's just the best thing in the whole wide world.